Hi guys, welcome to our deep dive Diana Ross episode. This is Robin Hood Diaries. Thank you for joining me as always. And let's dive in because I only have 10 minutes to cover Diana Ross. What we'll be addressing is my dutiful attendance at all of her concerts, some interesting develops on those concerts, my obsession with her at home in my personal life, let's see, elementary school. I went to elementary school with her daughters, so there were some brushes there. Let's see. Oh, basically the exclusivity of, or whatever you want to call it, of her music in my life from a period of time, exclusively, virtually exclusively. I can remember at least two homes that we had where it was like consistent attention to Miss Ross. We are also going to hopefully discuss her film industry endeavors and some stories, complimentary and not so complimentary. So let's dive because we only have about another 9 minutes. So as we know, Diana Ross separated from the Supremes and after that had a stellar career of which some of us became obsessed. Now, the anthology album of the Supremes anthology album, Diana Ross and Supremes, whatever you want to call it, was basically everything up until her solo career. That was my Bible. My best friend Alessia, not my best female friend Alessia De Paula, oops, and I were absolutely taken aback by Miss Ross. As I think I had suggested, we had been to, and or I had been to every single concert Diana Ross performed from 1976 until 1979. I think she did yearly concerts, so there was at least three. I can tell you that the most memorable of them was at the Pacific Amphitheater in Universal City, California, Los Angeles. And that was an open air amphitheater at that time, Pacific Amphitheater. They have since closed it, enclosed it, you know, all but battened down the hatches from what it used to be, which is this huge open air amphitheater. Prior to one of her concerts there is a very famous opener that she does of a grand white staircase in a grand, fabulous white gown adorned. And she walks on screen down to the bottom of the stage. And then the screen opens up and she walks out in the exact same outfit, continuing her song. But prior to this, Miss Ross and Company had a blimp fly over the open air amphitheater announcing her concert. So I have some actual devotees that have a hard time believing that. I was there. It's true. She did everything but drop flyers from the blimp. Not that we needed any more enthusiasm. So I went to elementary school with her daughters. And I was towards the end kind of like a teacher's assistant, like sixth grade, after school programs, so I had need to be around school, especially like pickup times and stuff like that. Well, I had several encounters with Miss Ross, never verbal, eye contact for sure, because I would basically see her to and fro in the main hallway, very private, very small private elementary school. Her daughters went there, some other celebrity sons and daughters went there, and so as I said, I had instances where I would let's say, sideswipe her down the hall because, again, pickup time, her daughters were lower grade than I. And so that's how it worked out with these like little, TAs, summer TAs, whatever, of which I aspired to. Why? I probably wanted to meet Miss Ross. I can remember one of the closest encounters. First of all, every time I saw her, she did maintain eye contact with me. She was not like this. Oh, I'm so sick of this stuff about so and so has been instructed that no one on the set look at them. That okay, fine. Miss Ross was not one of them. Miss Streisand was not one of them, as I most recently heard. Well, did you know? No, no, these are no. Especially the latter. No, 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 no. She would not instruct her crew not to look at her. The latter, Miss Streisand, would, if anything, encourage or bring it on kind of thing with any crew member that had issue uh, at all. She'd be more than interested. It would be sort of like a do tell, but not malicious, not diva, and not a bitch. Continents away from that. Anyway, back to Miss Ross. So I remember one of my closest encounters of her walking down the hallway one particular time. She was in sort of a wrap chiffon pantsuit, not pantsuit, but flowy, kind of drapey, kind of, I think it was like a beigeish yellow chiffon. This one particular time where I sideswiped her and smelled amazing. And I noticed that she seemed to be lighter in complexion than I had remembered. Now, of course, makeup and personal choices come into play, but that was not my memories, that she was not, let's say, the darkest complected of the Supremes. But my well, at least a couple of them seem to recall slightly fairer skin, and perhaps to the point where you would expect maybe like a few tiny little freckles. I mean, not that not so dark kind of biracial complexion. My God, you guys, I actually felt the silk like brush against me because it was a door-to-door hallway with breeze coming through. Oh my God, stick me in an iron lung. I just smelled and sideswiped Miss Ross. Major, major deal. As I said, I listened to her music, Miss Ross's music exclusively for a period of time. I was also enthralled and obsessed with her acting performances, in addition to her, I don't want to say vocal prowess, because she was just a force of nature, and it happened to also be vocal. Lady Sings the Blues. There's a lot of surrounding controversy around that one, particularly me, and I will go on record, and everyone can attack me and unlive me, but that Oscar was stolen. If you look at pure acting performance, you look at Demi Moore in this, whatever this body, actress, whatever it was, and then you look at Diana Ross in the scene where she plays Billie Holiday in the bathroom, in the throes of Heroin, and is doing the same Demi Moore thing of spreading the lipstick across her face and the mirror and everything. Miss Ross was the only one in that room, acting-wise. Miss Ross, there was the fourth wall solid closed. It was her in the mirror playing that character. And look, that scene in the restroom alone deserved her the Oscar. I'm going on record. Please, please, hate mail, SEANFRYE66 @gmail.com. Feel free. And then Mahogany. Mahogany, I can't even tell you how that affected me. I lived and breathed Mahogany, her film, following Lady Sings the Blues. It was a cultural obsession of mine. I'd seen it multiple times. It's my mommy dearest, okay? Far from it, but I can virtually recite chapter and verse every piece of dialogue in Mahogany. That's how impacted I was by Miss Ross in that film. It's like, pick a part, I'll give you the lines. But, of course, my pathological obsession with Miss Ross for years only played into that. I, of course, have heard all of the diva stuff. I have my issues about every instance where some female luminary is referred to as a diva. And we all know that story. Where are the guys in that mix? Why aren't they a-holes and f-wads, with their overbearing tendencies? But women are always labeled the B word or the diva word. Check it out the door, folks. Not interested. So that was my obsession with her. I'm just trying to think. I lived and breathed her. The close brushes, the side swiping. A few times at elementary school with her daughters, Tracy in particular, just like being near her when she's picking up Tracy or whatever was like, especially the TA, the sixth grade teacher's assistant. Oh, how's Tracy doing? Meanwhile, I'm going to spontaneously combust. I don't know. Every concert, man. Now, Berry Gordy is a part. I'll wrap this up. Berry Gordy is very much a part of this. Diana Ross had a Svengali, and I hate to say that, but it was all Diana Ross. It was her being, her soul into that music, of which she got nothing. Thank you, Motown. And so, yes, she had the goods, and Barry had the know-how. And yes, he did develop the wrong luminary. He developed the Diana, the Miss Ross that we know from the Supremes, well into the transition, well into the newer albums, well into Mahogany. Of course, Lady Sings the Blues. She didn't really want to do that film, but he pushed her. And I have my issues with Berry Gordy, but I also have my acknowledgement of his geniuses vis-a-vis her career. Shall we make this a volume 2? No, I don't think so. But Miss Ross is a force to be reckoned with, and all I can say is #goddess. Thanks for joining us. I'll see you soon.